So, I'm going to talk a little bit about my process the last couple of days. First of all, I have a sheet set up in my van. This is kind of nice. It hides my van, and this actually, I'm excited about that because it means I don't need to do the background green screen thing as much. It's a sheet. It's not that nice, but it could be worse. But basically, I had a thing happen. So I recorded a video 2 days ago, and I was showing, just trying to show my process. So I was doing my normal work, reading and editing my notes, and it was pretty good actually. And then I used the transcription editor tool in CapCut, which is the video editor I'm using right now. I might switch to something else because CapCut has relatively low bounds on their free trial stuff. They've got some really good AI editing tools, but they are usually only free for the first few uses, and then they charge you, which is fine. Paying a small amount for a good video editor might be worth it, but I'm going to experiment with some other video editors. Anyways, I was recording this video of me doing my process, editing my notes. The problem is I have a whole bunch of personal notes in my notes. So I've got all of my philosophy stuff is intertwined with my personal life, and I've got stream of consciousness style notes throughout. I got grocery list style stuff in there. I got personal notes about people, observations about people that I know. And what I could do, and I experimented with this today, I asked ChatGPT to basically give me back my notes in two versions. One version that's safe for YouTube, and another version that's all my personal stuff separate. And it gave me a two list, and it was kind of useful. I don't think I want to do that, but I might do something as simple as just asking ChatGPT to remove all names of people and put aliases into my notes. That might be a minimum thing that I need to do. I don't really mind showing my notes, but I had this conversation also with some friends yesterday. I showed a friend of mine the video that I made, and she was like, your notes are a little bit too personal. It's probably not good to put that on YouTube. And I was like, fuck, right. I won't do it. But also, I've been thinking and feeling this for a while, that my intuition used to be that I should, if I'm not sure if I should show it, I should just not show it. If there's a question, then just don't show it. And now my intuition is the opposite. After thinking about it for a long time, and also just seeing that there's a lot of people who are extremely successful on YouTube, just being extremely vulnerable. And also that's way easier. Being vulnerable is way easier than being guarded and editing everything and curating everything. And it's just like, for me, that's extremely important. I need to be able to get my stuff up without too much curation, because I will get stuck in analysis paralysis. So I've been thinking about this a lot, and so my friend was like, hey, you probably shouldn't show that because your notes are too personal. So I'm like, fine, I gotta find a middle ground. She was like, you should try just recording a video of you talking to the camera. And so this is me doing that, but also so I'm playing around with alternatives. I do really want to show me editing my notes, and I'll probably find a way to do that at some point where it's not showing too much of my personal stuff, but I feel like it really gives meat to showing the process, how I am working through everything. And so I really want to do that. I feel like that is definitely the goal. But for now, I'm going to make a compromise by basically just reading through my notes and talking out loud about the stuff that I think is worth talking about. And I'll edit this down into a reasonable amount of time video. And so this is the process so far. I had thought yesterday about basically like the importance of verbal versus nonverbal relationship, I guess. So I was talking about this in the video I made the other day, but basically I met this girl at a party one time. This was last year, and we hit it off really good. But we were at this party, we were danced all night. We ended up dating for like a month, and but definitely for that first night, we basically didn't have time to talk. So we didn't talk, we just danced. We had a nonverbal connection, and it was awesome. But also it's got me thinking a lot about the importance of nonverbal connections versus verbal connections, and how to talk about that, how to think about that. I definitely feel like there is a rule where, because one of the rules definitely seems to be that nonverbal communication is inherently more important. People communicate their actual truth, or what is much more likely to be their actual truth, non-verbally than they do with their words. And so if they're saying something with their mouth, but they're doing something else they're indicating something else with their body, you should probably take what they're doing with their body at face value and discard, or at least deprioritize what they're saying with their mouth. Not totally, obviously, but that's definitely seems like a rule that is generally true, that nonverbal communication is more fundamental. But I am not sure that that is the same, that is also true for nonverbal relationships. I feel like there are a lot of situations in which, I don't know. So for example, with that girl that I met and we hit it off, we had like a really strong nonverbal unspoken connection, and it was really great. But it's got me thinking a lot, because we basically, I don't know, I've had a lot of different situations in which I've had relationships that were much more verbal than not. We would talk for hours, and then when we're not talking, text for hours, text all day, basically communicating all the time, but it's all verbal. But also the nonverbal stuff in person is also on point. It's just that, like, I've never had a relationship where if it's nonverbal connection but also not really very much verbal connection to speak of, I've never had anything like that last. And I also don't really feel like that is normal. Anyway, so that's what I was thinking about. That was the thing I was thinking about. Something else I was thinking about a lot is basically shallow interactions and deep. I've been thinking a lot about basically why there feels like there is a strong delineation in my subconscious mind between sort of, quote, deep interactions and shallow interactions, small talk versus deep conversation. And it's taken sort of confusing different manifestations. So it's like sometimes if I have a deep conversation, for a while after that, I will be super open to less deep, more surface level interactions. But I've also had situations where the opposite is true. I'll have a deep conversation, and then for a while after that, I'll just have zero interest in surface level deep conversations, even though I did prior to the deep conversation. And it definitely feels like there is a really big, something happens inside of me where I feel satiated, I feel full after deep conversations. But it manifests in different ways. So I've been trying to figure this out for a long time, because I feel like I want to understand this about myself. I feel like there's probably universal sort of rules. My theory about this, and I really like this theory, even though I'm not sure it's right, is that we use the people around us as basically parts of our perceptive framework. And so, one theory that I have is that I have this theory about constraints and chaos. I met this guy, or at least I went to this poetry workshop briefly, and the guy was talking about how if you need more creativity, add noise or chaos, basically. And if you find that you're having trouble narrowing down things from options, then add constraints. And I feel like that's a really fundamental thing. And I feel like this might also apply to this whole relationship thing, where if I have a deep connection or conversation with somebody, it might be like a subconscious signal that of order. Or at least you have used your connection with someone else to organize your subconscious mind, I guess, or approximating that, and that maybe surface level small talk interactions act as more like chaos. The purpose of chaos in moderation is to be fuel for your creativity, and the purpose of constraints is to help you make sense of reality. Because if there's too much chaos, you become overwhelmed. You can't make sense of things. And if there's not enough chaos, and it's hard to be creative. I'm not sure though about that framing. I like it, but I had another take. What was my other take? Let me find it. I had another take that basically maybe shallow interactions or at least small talk style interactions are never it. Maybe there is no need for that at all, and that they really only exist as a segue into deeper interaction. And I don't know which one I like more. I'm going to be testing both of those theories and to see which one sort of bears more fruit. Right now, I think I'm leaning a little bit more towards the shallow interactions are never it, just because. But that sort of leaves an open question to me, which is that I feel like I have intuition that I should be able to always get something out of human interaction. Like, I don't believe in the concept of social battery. And I think that it's just the way I approach the social interaction is key. It's not the fact that I have social battery, it's that I'm approaching the interaction in a way that is not meeting my current needs. And so if I have no desire for shallow interaction, small talk, then I just need to approach it differently. And that's my main supposition. And so that second theory, while it sort of makes more sense on the face of it, it does not give me a lead as for what do I do with myself. If the deep interaction, it's the only thing that really matters, then what do you do with all the times when you just don't have time or space for a deep interaction? And I definitely think that there's something to be said for, like, nobody really likes small talk. Everybody's craving deeper interaction, but I definitely think there is a place for it somewhere. I just don't know where. I don't know. So that's what I'm thinking about. That's one of the things I'm thinking about. Yeah, I don't know. So this is an experiment today, the style of video, and we'll see. I don't know how I like it. I'm gonna do this. I probably am going to also do another video where I actually edit my notes, and I'll probably just weed out any names and or identifying information of anyone else, and that way there'll only be revealing information about me. And not that necessarily people would know who the people I'm talking about in my notes are, but I think what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna contrast these two styles of making videos. I really want to show my notes. I feel like that is, for me, it's like a feather in my cap, and I want to show that part of the process, but we'll see how it goes. Anyways, thanks for watching.